What's going on, guys? May 17th here, and I want to film a video really quick that I'm going to call Cults of Corey. And the reason I'm filming this video is because I'm seeing so much misinformation, disinformation, ego, shit-talking, and people just acting a fool everywhere on both ends of the spectrum. So this video is really gonna leave nobody out. Again, it's gonna be pretty general, but hey, if the shoe fits, wear it. And I'm simply going to give you my opinions on Corey Goode, my opinions on each one of these camps, and what I think they can do to improve, and the tools that I simply use to try to discern as best I can what the F is really going on here. Because that's really all I can do in these videos is just offer you my experience, my understanding, and my knowledge base. So, first of all, what do I think of Corey Goode? Yes, I do resonate with his message. I've been listening to him for a couple years now since he's come out, and he's really confirmed and connected a lot of dots of what I've been studying for 3-4 years previous to him coming out. So, yes, I mean, that's why I will be working with him. But here's the kicker. I don't place him on a pedestal. I understand that he's human. He has his drawbacks and has his roadblocks in his life just like we all do. And I understand that all he wants is to love and be loved. That's what I feel from him. So what I think is going on is there's so much division, divide and conquer, and people are just literally shooting themselves in the foot without even realizing it. And then so many people are gravitating towards these two ends of the spectrum. And then we have, for instance, the haters. They'll talk some shit and catalyze the obsessors, which will then attach, which will then catalyze these guys. And it's like this back and forth game, and it's really nonsense. So, the first quote I want to offer to you guys, I'm going to quote a lot in this video because I just threw a bunch of stuff on this board. Thinking is difficult. That's why most people judge. And again, both of these guys are judging. I've been hearing so much stuff from like these guys spewing, oh, mind control, disinformation, yada yada, that it's like, you know, they don't even have first, second, or sometimes even third-hand knowledge of what's going on, and they're saying all this stuff as it's fact. And I'm like, oh my god, I feel like I'm in some high school drama class. And then these guys over here, the Obsessors, I worry about them. They're like, these are the people that are over here just saying, save us, you know, they're attaching on to every single thing he says as some, or I should say, they're attaching on to him as being some omniscient being, and it's, they're coming from such a victimized mindset. And I understand this one because, you know, I was kind of there in the first steps of my truth-seeking journey. I'm like, oh, save me, Nazara, save me, prosperity funds. But you can't do that. And that's, you know, that's completely ass backwards of what we're on this planet to learn right now. So, it's a bad thing, both ends of the spectrum. And it really concerns me on here because one example, I should say, of this end of the spectrum is, I don't know, some group on Facebook. It had a poll where people were saying, you know, if you, essentially it said, if you could go to the inner earth and meet with all these beings, or leave the surface of the planet, would you? And like 30-40% of the people would be like, were like, yep, I would pack my bags right now and dip on this poll. And I'm like, dude, no, that's scary stuff. So that's why I'm really divvying it up. And that's why this video is going to leave nobody out, because there's so much better thinking we could do. Again, because thinking is difficult, and you can't judge him badly, or you can't judge what he's saying in a negative light when you don't understand. You can't also attach onto it. So I wrote right here also in green, my little color coding here, tyrants and weaklings, because, you know, I just quoted Carl Jung here, so let's sprinkle a little more Jung on him. But I wrote these words because it discusses archetypes, and it's just a really helpful form of psychoanalysis that I've been studying a lot recently. Been studying a lot of Jung and Campbell and whatnot, but Carl Jung deals with the use of archetypes to help understand our psyche. And one of those archetypes is the king archetype. And this one, when you have an imbalanced king energy within you, it can manifest as one of two ways. It'll manifest as a tyrant when it's overdeveloped, or it'll manifest as a weakling when it's underdeveloped. So the tyrants, they're the ones when their ego gets really concerned because they feel like their control is slipping, their dominion, right, is going away. And I think all the guys over here that are screaming disinfo and mind control, they're just concerned because I feel jealousy. That's kind of what I feel. But they're just concerned that they might be wrong. Their ego's getting checked. And then these guys over here, the Obsessors, which, I mean, ironically, all of these guys, Corey's been like, no, dude, don't. Right? Don't think of me with that cult mentality. He's literally saying that. But people we're like so damaged as a society, and we've been all living with such a victimized mindset that people, they don't even realize that they're attaching onto his words, and they're like they're the weaklings. Okay, when you don't have enough of that king energy within you, it'll manifest as the weakling, and they're the ones that always try to push their power onto other people, right? When you have a weak king, just think of like stories and movies. When you have a weak king, they always try to push their power on other people. So it's that victimized mindset that so many people live from. They don't even realize it. So we have to stop doing that. And then I honestly think a lot of these people over here on the disinfo camp, it's not that they don't like Corey. It's that they don't realize they don't like these guys, and then they equate that to Corey, and then that catalyzes them without realizing that they have to separate the two here. So I don't know. That's just some observation that I see. Anyway, what up, kitty? Down though. So anyway, that's just like some little Carl Jung that I wanted to sprinkle in there for you guys. So I want to get now into the tools that I use to really help discern what's going on. And first of all is absolute versus relative truth. And I threw this one in there because I've been reading the Kybalion lately as well. So lots of good knowledge in there, deep hermetic wisdom. So what this was essentially saying, a part of this book that I really resonated with, is there's a huge difference between absolute and relative truth. Absolute truth is, I mean, literally the only way you can describe it is by saying that is. Just it is what it is. You can't change that. You have to, I wrote this quote over here. I'm going to quote the crap out of this video. You have to bend to truth's will or live a lie. I'm kind of paraphrasing that one, but it is what it is. The truth is the truth. You have to bend to its will or live a lie. And this is 100%. It is what it is. Now, what is the relative truth? The relative truth is essentially it's each one of our own individual perspectives. It's what I see. It's what you see. It's what Corey Goode experiences have showed him. It's what he sees, right? And it's different for everybody. Perspective is everything. And like I said earlier, you can't put him on some magic pedestal and think he, knows all this stuff that he might not. Because the absolute truth, that's pretty freaking tough to come by. You're never, I don't care who you are, you're never going to have 100% understanding of every single little thing that's going on. And the name of the game, the goal here is to take our relative truths and try to get as close as we can to this one. But what's going on is both camps, haters and obsessors, they're seeing him as having so much of this, but he doesn't. So we have to stop doing that. It's, like I said, it's shooting ourselves in the foot. Understand that he has this. But you can use that. You can take that and distill it to help you with your own relative truth. So that's a crucial understanding. No one is absolute. And this then segues into the types of evidence, okay? Because you have to understand everybody's relative truth is formulated upon different experiences, different knowledge, and different evidence they've acquired, that they've let into their lives, let into their brains. So there's a lot of different types of evidence. There's physical evidence, scientific evidence, testimonial, circumstantial, lots of different kinds of evidence, okay? And what a lot of people do is they don't realize there's a lot of different types of evidence, so because they don't want to do the difficult stuff, and then they just start doing things like throwing the baby out with the bathwater, and they're just not thinking hard enough that to dissect what's really going on. So you have to understand, Corey Goode is not a journalist. Okay, he only has a couple types of evidence. He has testimonial evidence, and that leads us into a lot of circumstantial evidence, which is why I resonate with a lot of his stuff. Okay, he doesn't have things like physical evidence or scientific evidence. Okay, again, we can't make him to be something that he isn't. So that needs to be understood when taking his relative truths into the picture. I do a lot more journalistic stuff with my videos and my YouTube channel. So I try to throw in a lot of scientific evidence. I try to take the testimonial and circumstantial evidence and connect a lot of dots. And, not in regards to obviously secret space program stuff, but in other videos I show evidence of, whatever I might have on hand. So that needs to be understood, okay? And when you realize that there's different types of evidence, you then come down into, okay, how do I discern that? How do I distill these different types of evidence? And that leads us into something that I like to talk about quite a bit and just ponder, is another beautiful manifestation of that yin-yang law of polarity concept is left and right brain, right? We all know we have a left brain and a right brain. We have one that's logical, one that's holistic, one that's compartmentalized, and one that's holistic and intuitive in nature. So most people in society these days are living right here. They're in the compartmentalized mindset, primarily because of academia, and that's how the systems have been built, because it's very easy to push false agendas upon people that are simply living from a left brain mindset. And you got to understand that we need to bring the right brain back into the picture. Okay? Now, the right brain is the dot connector brain, but a very important point to note here is that when you bring your right brain back into the picture and really try to use your gut instinct with information, your gut instinct is always going to be predicated upon your experience. Okay? So, for instance, you have somebody that is for and against vaccines. The one that is for vaccines, their gut instincts will probably be for vaccines if they've grown up in that environment their whole lives. So what we have to do is stop living from that fear-based mindset. Stop living from thinking, oh my gosh, my ego's going to be checked, I'm going to be wrong, or oh my gosh, right, I can't think of any other scenarios in my head, or what if I don't want to have to do my own research and connect my own dots and stuff because I just want what I read to be right. So we have to get out of our ego, get out of the fear, I should say, and connect dots holistically with all information. That's why I wrote down here, the mark of an educated mind is to entertain a thought without accepting it. Good old Greek philosophizers right there. That ties into what I'm saying, because you have to holistically think from every avenue. Okay? When I log onto the internet and I check and I try to do my daily news updates, I read everything. But when I read mainstream media, which we pretty much all know now is BS, I understand that, okay, what if they're telling me the truth, or what if they're not telling me the truth? I don't automatically assume they're not, okay? So these guys, when they're bickering with each other, they automatically assume the other side is bullshit, and we can't do that. So you have to holistically think from all avenues and entertain all thoughts. Another good quote, sprinkle more of it on, Dr. Wayne Dyer. He said a belief system is having the same thought over and over and over and over again. Do you know how much I think, oh my god, what if Corey Goode is mind controlled? Or, oh my god, what if, these whistleblowers or these witnesses over here are totally full of shit and totally yanking my chain? Oh my gosh, what if, Donald Trump is some evil dude? And shoot, if I'm wrong, right? Great. I don't live from a victimized mindset. If I find out that my belief system is being challenged, fantastic. That means I know I can change my mind, and that's responsibility. Responsibility then leads to empowerment. Do you see? So, great. If I'm wrong, prove it. Show me. Fantastic. That's how a healthy mind functions. A friend of mine said, if you don't have some existential crisis on your truth-seeking path, every so often you're not doing it right. And I still get them all the time. I'm like, man, that's not what I thought. So it's healthy. It's okay to, doubt yourself. It's another metaphor. I'm going metaphors and quotes on them. Another metaphor is you can't have a rigid truth puzzle. I like the truth puzzle, okay? A lot of people have a very rigid truth puzzle and they throw out pieces they don't like. You can't do that as well. You have to take all the pieces into the truth puzzle, okay? And then cut it out as you see fit. Accept what is useful, reject what's useless, and add what's uniquely your own. Good old Bruce Lee. So there's that. That's kind of all I wanted to offer to you guys before I get more ranty and tangential here. But essentially, yes, I do resonate with Corey's message, but I understand that he's human. I understand that he doesn't have all the answers, but what he is doing is connecting a lot of dots, and and I'm resonating with that. But I understand that there's a lot of different types of evidence. He only has a couple, right? I don't stop there. I'm researching a lot of things past that, the avenues that I haven't seen that he's opening up for me. And I don't obsess over him, but I don't hate him when he's wrong. I don't hate people when they're wrong. I go, okay, now that, diverts my path a little bit, but I understand that I am on a path. and I have to do it myself, right? We all have to do our own thinking. We can't be judging. So, and there's very good reasons as well that I didn't get into here that he might not be showing us physical information. Because again, like I said, his path is different than ours. If he has been in these secret space projects, then obviously he's not going to have physical evidence. That's of a lot of stuff. But also, being in contact with higher beings, I don't want to say higher, hierarchy, but I want to say, let's say more evolved being, a different race. Let's just say that. If he's in contact with a different race, then they may not want to break the laws of free will and give us physical evidence. I see some people say, why doesn't he show pictures? I'm like, that's kind of defeating the purpose here, right? The purpose here is to have free will and come to a lot of truths on our own. So, I mean, let's be real. If some, like, different beings were to appear in front of me, I would have a lot different response than him because I'm on a different path than he is. So, there's reasons. There's reasons he doesn't have different kinds of evidence. That's just what I want to throw in there. But anyway, I hope that helps, right? I hope that we can entertain all aspects with no cognitive dissonance, with no ego, and all just come together to find out what the truth is. And then lastly, I do want to throw this one in there, just for the haters. Because let's be real, I'm all for talking shit and calling out the disinformation, but you have to have evidence, right? I see a lot of people claiming mind control, and it's like, okay, prove it. And two, you have to offer a better alternative. So let's be real. I mean, if you're not saying, yeah, okay, like for instance, if I'm calling out the mainstream media or some conventional science for some dumb stuff, I'm going to be like, this is what I think, this is what I feel is much better. People are going to gravitate towards your calling out of disinformation if you offer good information. So I'm just saying that for a lot of people that are calling mind control. If you talk shit, you got to back up your shit. But you also have to offer good shit in place of it. So anyway, this quote here, accuse those against you of that which you are guilty. And that's a big one. Because if I see a bunch of people claiming disinformation, that makes me scratch my head, right? Whoever smelt it, dealt it. Whoever said the rhyme did the crime. Ugh. But anyway, this quote comes from the Nazi minister of propaganda himself, Joseph Goebbels. So that kind of hits home. If you're calling out disinformation, you, like I said, prove it, back it up, offer a better alternative, and I'll start seeing your message as being a little more important. So, hey, hope you guys enjoyed that video. I'm going to get going. I got a busy day, and then I got travel day tomorrow. So anyway, peace out, guys. Pen drop.